Hi, I'm Maggie Harding with the Graphic 45 design team. Today I'm going to show you a mini album that I'm making with Precious Memories collection. I'll be using our Ivory Mixed Media album. These are really great to make minis. Show you. Come with a nice surface that can be painted. Inside there are divider pages with flaps already, plus there are pages that you can decorate and add to, and then there's vellum as well. These are really fun, so that's what I'm using. Now, I've already glued a ribbon here. It's a 2-inch wide ribbon, so I've just centered it from top to bottom. I wanted to let the glue dry before I started adhering paper, so we'll set that aside for a moment, and let's go over some of the things that we're going to need. Now, this is from the 12 by 12 pad, and it is the patty cake paper, and I have cut it to 7 7/8 inches wide and 8 3 inches tall. Boy, that's a mouthful. And then from the 8 by 8 Precious Memories pad, I've cut out the center part of this paper, which is called Precious Memories. I've fussy cut some flowers here from a 12 by 12 paper, from this paper right here, which is Baby's Breath. And this is from the 8 by 8 pad patty cake. I just fussy cut this out. This is from the sticker sheet. And what I do to pull my stickers out so that I don't have sticky on the back, because I don't want them to be sticky until I'm ready to put them down, I just take my craft knife and go around, cut it out that way. It just makes it a little easier. Now, I've used a couple of scraps here to make this strip, and this is, let's see, 1.5 inches wide, and the total length needs to be 8 3/8 inches. The same thing here, but this is from the 12 by 12 pad, and it is Cuddle Time. And it is, let's see, I wrote the dimensions on the back, 2 3/4 inches wide. There we go. And 8 3/8 altogether. So again, you can use your scraps for that. Okay. Now for glue, I'm going to be using matte medium. I'm using Liquitex. You could use the same thing. You could use Golden. You could use Mod Podge. You can just use glue or a tape runner. But on covers, I like to use matte medium because it protects the surface. Once you get a good coat of matte medium over everything, you could actually wipe it off. So that's why I like to use that. Okay, let's get started. Now, when you're applying something like this, it's really better to put it on both on your paper and on what you're gluing it to. That way you get a good bond. And I have this little, I think it was made for putting rub-ons, but I like to use that. I'll show you just here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is put some of this over everything. Okay, next we want to add our plaid strip here. Okay, now we're going to put these little pink strips on. And we're just going to center those in the middle of the plaid paper. Now, if you have a good stiff paintbrush, that's pretty good for kind of pushing your paper down and making sure that the glue gets everywhere. But you don't want bubbles under your paper. And I will tell you that despite my best efforts, sometimes I still end up with a bubble or two, but oh well, we just live with it. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and put a coat over the whole thing. Okay, we're going to put this one down next. This is the cutout from the Precious Memories title page from the 8x8 pad. And I actually made some little marks here on my book so that I would kind of know where I wanted my placement. This is one inch from the paper on the right side. It's about 1 1/8 inches from the top. I cannot see straight, so I measure everything. Otherwise, I'd really have a mess. Even when I measure, sometimes I mess up. Okay, so next we're going to put this little piece here, and it's going to cover up our two little places where we don't have paper. Okay, next we're going to add flowers. No, next we're going to add this right here. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these flowers down. So I want this to be really sturdy, so I don't want a lot of paper that can get torn off. Okay, and now I picked out a little chipboard tag here, and I'm going to put that down, but before I do that, I want to sand the edges. Get that little paper, that little Chad, I call it, off of there. And I'm going to use some score tape to put this piece of chipboard on. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to put just a final coat of matte medium over the whole thing. There we go. So now I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then later on we'll add some flowers. Gotta have flowers. Okay, let's work on the pages now. When I make mini albums, I usually design each of my pages individually, and it takes me forever. And by forever, I mean more than a week. This time I wanted to make something a little bit quicker than that because I want to make several mini albums, and I don't have time to spend more than a week on each one. So I decided that I needed just a basic design that I could then embellish to make each page unique. So what I've done is I've taken an 8x8 paper pad, and you can see that this would be an 8x8 piece of paper, and this is an 8x8 piece of paper. Cut the strip off at the top, cut this to 6 1/4 inches wide, then it fits perfectly on the backing here with just a nice little border around it. And then the strip that comes off, I'm put on this side. And this strip, which came off here, I'll glue onto this side. It makes nice, pretty pages. By the time I add photo mats or pictures or whatever, I can do them this way or this way. I can add big pictures. I'll use some of the chipboard from the collection to embellish, maybe some flowers, stickers. I think by the time I get done with it, each page will still have its own character. So that's my goal here. So let's go ahead and glue one of these on. I'm gluing this strip about 5/8 of an inch from the edge, but really I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, once you get it glued down just on one side, you want to flip it over and punch your holes. because if you have design paper on both sides, before you punch your holes, you won't be able to see your holes. And yeah, you could use a template and redo them and all that, but I prefer to just put the paper on one side, punch the holes, flip it over, put the paper on the second side, and punch 2 more holes. Okay, so that's how I make the pages. I'm going to do every single page in here. I've already cut my design paper for each page, and I have them all stacked up over here in the order that I want them to show up. And so it'll be nice and easy, kind of an assembly line approach. Okay, then now let's talk about making the dividers. The dividers, there are 4 of them, and each one has a pocket on the front and the back. So what I've done is I've taken a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. This is 6 inches wide, and it is 5 1/4 inches high. So one sheet of 12 by 12 paper will give you 2 panels here. And then from the remaining paper, you can cut 2 of these, which are 6 inches wide by 2 3/4. And then just kind of mix them up so that, you know, each page looks different. So just glue this here. It just fits up under there so that it looks like it goes all the way through. And then just glue this on here. Punch your holes, same as the others. Do one side, glue one side, punch, glue the other side, and punch. And that's all there is to the dividers. Okay, that's it for making the pages. Okay, what I'm going to do now is add a door pull here. These are part of our staples line. There are 2 in a package, and they come on this nice little card that you want to save because you can use it for a tag. They come in antique brass and in this, which is called shabby chic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this right here. The idea being that it'll help give that ribbon some strength so that it won't pull out. And going to mark where the holes are with my pencil. Okay. And then I'm going to use my big bite, which I hope will punch through that. Now, I'm also going to put some glue on this because by the time these go through this and through the book, there's really not going to be a lot of metal left on the back side to hold it. So I'm going to put some glue to give it some extra strength. Okay, now it's time for the fun part, and that's embellishing with some flowers. I love flowers. Add in some leaves, some greenery. That is your basic mini. So after I get this finished, I will take pictures of all the pages so that you can see how they look once I've embellished, and maybe get some ideas for how to do one for yourself. I thank you for watching.